Fantastic. This is absolutely marvelous.
Absolutely. On this last Tuesday of the month, 30th of January 2024, good evening and a very warm welcome to the Daily Report, where we bring you the People's Court as well. My name is George Marenga. Let's get the show on the road. And speaking about roads, Victor.
Yes, yes indeed. Last week we were in the courts.
Yes.
Today we are on the roads, and it's all about you and I, and it's all about our safety. Last year, as well as the previous year, over 4,500 people died on our roads.
Sadly.
In an entire year. Over 4,500, and that number has kept increasing over the years. This week we've heard news of a massive crash in the western part of the country.
Yes.
We want to talk about road safety or sanity on our roads. We want to figure out ways and means that we can stay safe and keep all of us safe on our roads.
Well, was it yesterday that 11 people lost their lives?
Absolutely.
It's like, wow, what really is ailing us as a people? Is it that we have bad roads? Is it that our drivers not careful with the road? Is it that the road users themselves do not understand how to use the road?
Absolutely.
That's basically what we'll be looking at this evening, and we certainly hope that the viewer can join us. Of course, the socials are open. It is important that they tell us in relation to this, and we'll be engaging lots of individuals that are in the transport sector, and you also realize that everybody and anybody is in the transport sector by default.
Yes.
So gentlemen, we have to talk about this.
We have to.
Victor, what shall we be having in studio as part of the conversation?
Oh, goodness.
The bikes.
So here's the thing. When we talk about road safety, most of the focus is on the cars.
The cars.
Of course, and by far, all of the attention goes there. But listen, we've got bikes as well, motorcycles on the roads. We like to demonize our border friends. We like to demonize those people. But hey, they've got something to say as well. We've also got cyclists, non-motorized transport. We've got wheelchair users.
And we have passengers.
Pedestrians and passengers and pillions.
Yeah.
And tonight we're going to have bikes in studio.
So when we're telling them that we're taking them to the roads, we are literally
taking the show
to the road.
To the road.
You know what they say? If the mountain cannot come to Muhammad, then Muhammad must go to the mountain. Yeah. So if we can't go to the actual physical roads,
we're here.
We'll cause an accident.
The roads have come to us.
I mean, look at how we're looking. We'll cause an accident. We bring the roads here. We'll bring the bikes here.
Yes.
And we have a conversation you don't want to miss. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Join us at 9:30.
The hashtag is People's Court. I'm Linda_Lela.
At George Marenga_.
At Muyakane on
Let's begin
X.
this. But first, the highlights.
Tonight, 94 women were killed between 2021 and 2024. This as DCI forms team to expedite investigations into the murder incidents involving women. Keep off judiciary affairs. Azimio leaders tell the international community.
All parties shall respect the independence of the judiciary and that foreign interests will keep off our national affairs.
The leaders want the independence of the judiciary respected.
Those who feel comfortable in contributing towards a fund that they can access after a certain period of time.
Plus, Kenyans want the government to make the housing levy voluntary, saying it is discriminatory and undermines the equity of taxation. Absolutely, we thank you for choosing TV47 to inform you. Rhoda Nyamai is on sign language interpretation tonight. Members of the Departmental Committees on Finance and National Planning have concluded the final session of public hearings for the Housing Bill 2023. During these hearings, Kenyans urged members of Parliament to amend the Housing Levy Bill, advocating for the levy to become voluntary. Following the conclusions of the hearings, the committee members are expected to retreat to Mombasa to draft a report which will subsequently be presented in the National Assembly. Moige William opens our broadcast tonight with that report.
But the biggest question is...
The Kimani Kuria Finance-led committee for the second consecutive day engaged with various stakeholders to gather opinions on the housing levy bill at the county hall. Members of parliament were informed that the levy, spearheaded by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, is deemed inconsiderate for salaried low-income earners, with some suggesting that it should be transformed into a voluntary fund rather than a mandatory tax.
We fear that now those who are able will fund those who are not able to get houses in courts which are not their houses.
Those who feel comfortable in contributing towards a fund that they can access after a certain period of time.
Some stakeholders term the bill discriminatory, saying it undermines the equity of taxation by exclusively targeting salaried Kenyans while excluding those without a payslip, while at the same time not giving any guarantee of house ownership.
It was not very clear why the bill only particularly pointed to some class of people in terms of those who are going to benefit from the housing.
We propose basing the affordable housing levy on pensionable salary, which means that this simplifies payroll calculations and reduces administrative costs.
During the submissions, MPs were cautioned that if the bill is enacted in its current form, it could result in double taxation for Kenyans. The argument presented was that the housing levy proposes to impose a levy on gross incomes, while pay-as-you-earn payee is also imposed on gross income, leading to a scenario of double taxation.
Had this been treated as a fund, then it would have been good, because the fund would have avoided the issues we've raised on double taxation.
Because some of those who are employed are on as minimum income, others as low as 18,000 shillings. Others are even much lower.
This as the former presidential candidate Jeff Kaluyu urged the government to explore an alternative funding mechanism for the housing program instead of imposing the housing levy solely on formerly employed Kenyans.
The government needs to sell the housing, give it reason, and tell people why they should own the house. And therefore, people buy into it automatically. But if you force them, you shove it through the throat, then people are not going to agree it, even if it is good.
After wrapping up public hearings, the Molo Member of Parliament Kimani Kuria-led committee is now set to retreat to Mombasa County for report making before the second reading, debate and third reading before the National Assembly. Mwege William, TV47, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwege, for that. Azimio leader Raila Odinga has dismissed reports of division within the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, saying coalition members remain united. Speaking during the Azimio la Umoja summit in Nairobi, Odinga clarified that the coalition has granted its component partners the freedom to engage in their personal endeavors while strengthening themselves for the 2027 general elections. And as Mike Kagwongo reports, the coalition members have slammed the international community, telling the foreign countries to keep off the judiciary affairs.
The former Prime Minister Raila Odinga insists that minor disputes within the coalition should not be interpreted as a sign of its breakdown. This statement comes amid rumors of potential discord in the Azimio coalition, where it is alleged some members have expressed interest in running for president in 2027 polls.
There's been a lot of speculation in the media. Azimio is splitting, Azimio is convening meetings which have not been held, and so on and so forth. That is all trash.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who was absent for the Azimio la Umoja summit, and DAPK Party leader Eugene Wamalu are among those who have expressed interest in the presidency. Raila explained Kalonzo's absence, stating that the former vice president has traveled to South Sudan for other engagements.
And as you can see, Azimio is all here, except Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, who is out of the country, is traveling to South Sudan today.
In a controversial statement on his X handle, Kalonzo posted a photo with National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and Attorney General Justin Muturi, stating that if elected president, his first executive order will be to revoke the housing levy. Last week, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi suggested the possibility of a handshake between President William Ruto and Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga, hinting at something significant for the people of Bondo.
Nataka muniangalie vizuri. Hivi karibuni, we shall be surprising you with some very important news and pleasant. I will not say any more.
The coalition resolved to provide its component partners the freedom to engage in concurrent endeavors as they strengthen themselves in readiness for 2027.
The coalition is satisfied with the work of standing up for Kenyans and commits to continue holding the regime to account and to put blame where it belongs on areas like the ever-rising taxes.
On her part, NARC Kenya Party leader Martha Karua criticized the US for backing the government's decision to send police officers to Haiti. According to Karua, Azimio is committed to upholding the rule of law and will keep assisting the petitioners in their legal battles for the public interest.
All parties shall respect the independence of the judiciary and that foreign interests will keep off our national affairs.
Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that. The Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Amin, has assembled a team of detectives equipped with specialized training to expedite investigations into reported femicide incidents across the country. According to Amin, between the year 2021 and 2024, the DCI received reports of at least 94 cases involving the killings of women and girls. And as Andrin Kilemi reports, the newly established DCI Homicide Unit has been assigned the specific mandate of putting an end to the disturbing rise in femicide cases in the country.
The relentless fight against the escalating cases of femicide in the country is gaining momentum as the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, assembles a specialized team to expedite inquiries into the grave sexual offences and murders involving women and girls, with the main goal of curbing the alarming trend of femicide in the country. In a statement released Tuesday, Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Amin, vowed to avail all resources at his disposal for the team to deliver its mandate. The team, comprising of criminal intelligence analysts and forensic experts, will also partner with other stakeholders to come up with swift and comprehensive preventive strategies to address the atrocious violation of human rights. The DCI's Specialized Homicide Unit is tasked with diligently expediting investigations into serious sexual offences, probing incidents of murder involving women, and actively working to halt the worrying trend of femicide in the country. This comes at the backdrop of a series of femicide incidents that has sparked widespread conversations both online and offline. Last week, Kenyans from 10 counties took to the streets to protest against the rising cases of femicide. Between 2021 and 2024, 94 cases of femicide were reported to the DCI, with at least 65 suspects arraigned in various courts across the country. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Thank you, Andrin, for that. The probe on health facilities implicated in fraudulent activities entered day 2 as the National Assembly's Committee on Health visited St. Peter's Orthopedics Specialized Hospital. The hospital was tasked with providing clarification on discrepancies found in the dates of admission and discharge in comparison to the information submitted to the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, for billing. A point of contention was the reported change in the hospital's status, transitioning from a level 3 to a level 5 facility. Shayla Chelangat with more.
This hospital is among 27 other facilities implicated and currently under suspension due to their alleged involvement in fraudulent activities. According to an audit report conducted by the National Health Insurance Fund, an amount exceeding 14 million shillings is identified for recovery from this particular institution. A glaring concern highlighted in the audit report revolves around discrepancies in the dates of admission and discharge as reported to the insurer for billing purposes.
There are discrepancies between dates of admission and dates of discharge in the hospital files and patients' files in 57 claims amounting to 11,729,500.
Raising serious question about the transparency and accuracy of the hospital's billing practices.
If a patient comes on a Friday evening with a fracture, there's no pre-authorization that will take place. Do I send this patient away? I'll operate the patient. even before approval. I will send the X-ray. I'll even send the images to NHIF. So if the dates the only thing I'm being accused of right now is that the dates of admission is different. I don't think, honestly, from where I sit, I don't think that is a fraud.
In the course of their investigation, the committee sought to understand the operational level of the hospital.
I and some hospital opted for comprehensive, so we were given a specific amount. So the NHF said, we will give you this amount, but you should not co-charge.
The hospital's management has appealed for an expedited resolution, emphasizing the adverse effects the suspension has had on their day-to-day operation.
If we are guilty, we should be closed and tightened, but if we are not, please help us to get back to our services.
27 facilities linked to the 20 billion fraud scheme through fake claims have been suspended. Sheila Chelangat for TV 47.
Thank you, Sheila, for that. The Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union, KMPDU, has issued a one-month strike notice to the government demanding the restoration of their comprehensive health cover. According to the union, the government has eliminated this cover under the new Social Health Insurance Fund, compelling their members to personally fund certain services. If the government fails to address their concerns within the stipulated time, the union members have threatened to down their tools, as Zainab Mohammed reports.
According to the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, the removal of comprehensive coverage under the Shifting Income Financing System, SHIF, has left their members vulnerable. This is because they cannot afford crucial health services, even though they are the ones providing these services.
4,000 per individual. That comes about over 50,000 per year. And then we're also going to contribute almost 10 times in the state deductions of SHIF. So an individual will be contributing 200,000 a year, and then you are doomed to be given some insurance that only covers a baseline. That means you have to go get another private insurance to cover you, or you have to be ready to sell your property to get the cover. So that one doesn't make sense.
The union has issued a one-month strike notice to the government, saying that they will not permit their members to bear the financial burden each time they need healthcare services not included in the SHIF coverage.
You go to public, you get an emergency which you can't be sorted out in public hospitals, you go to a private facility. You need to pay, and then that hospital charges you 100,000. You need to co-pay. You need to pay that difference. Yet an insurance should be such that it does all the costings, so that when you go to hospital, you don't need to pay again. But SHIF says here that we'll pay that, and if you need more services, you go get a private insurance. And if you don't private insurance, then you need to do a co-payment. So it means many people will actually end up using out-of-pocket expenditure.
On the 19th of January this year, the court lifted orders that had previously prevented the implementation of SHIF, intended to replace the now defunct National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF. Under the new fund, Kenyans will be obligated to surrender 2.75% of their salaries to access healthcare services covered by the SHIF system. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Thank you, Zainab, for that. Let's take you to Italy. And President William Ruto today met with world leaders in Rome, Italy, and engaged in discussions on various crucial matters. During the meeting, the head of state, along with the Secretary General of the community of Sant'Egidio in Palazzo Paolo, delved into conversations regarding the situation in South Sudan. They emphasized the need to collaborate closely with all parties involved in the South Sudan peace process to work towards a lasting solution for the country. In another meeting, President Ruto addressed the issue of food security, engaging in talks with the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Q Ndong-Yu. The discussions centered on strategies and partnerships to enhance food security measures.
In fact, I can tell you today 4 aspects of Africa, what Africa is. Number 1, Africa has the largest renewable energy assets in the world. Number two, Africa has 2/3 of the world's arable land for agricultural production. Number three, Africa has the youngest population, 70% below the age of 30. And number four, Africa has the world's critical minerals that are necessary for energy transition. So if you are looking at the future and you're not looking in the direction of Africa, then I want to tell you, you are looking in the wrong place. Yeah. We are very confident that the resources we have in our continent, if they were complemented by the technologies that we have in this part of the world and the financing that we can all put it together, we can forge a win-win outcome for Europe and Africa, and for Africa and the globe.
From Rome to Kamba, where police officers in Kamba, Kiambu County are holding a suspect accused of killing an 8-year-old child and injuring a housemaid through stabbing. Despite the suspect's attempts to escape, his efforts were thwarted when he fell into a hole near the crime scene. He was rescued by a collaborative effort involving police officers and firefighters and has been detained at Kamba Police Station.
In this house located in Kiamba, Kiambu County, a heinous act was witnessed here. Grace Wanjiku returned home from work when a man tried to drag her inside the house. Her timely screams altered neighbors, saving her from the assailant.
Aged roughly around 8 years, was lying, the body was lying in a pool of blood, lifeless, in a pool of blood, with a deep cut on the neck.
However, police officers arrived at the scene too late. The lifeless body of an 8-year-old juvenile was in a pool of blood. Confirming the incident, Kiamba Police Commander Pius Mwanthi revealed that a 19-year-old female had also been rescued from the assailant.
Maskari walifika tukaingia huko ndani ndo ule msichana alikuwa huko kwa nyumba aliweza kufungua ile kanini ya chini, kakoji ya chini, na maskari wakaweza kupata nafasi ya kuingia huko ndani na kumtoa yule msichana.
Luckily, we were able to recover from the scene the murder weapon, a kitchen knife stained with blood, which we also kept as an exhibit for further processing to link the suspect to the crime scene.
The murder suspect, who is currently in police custody, killed an 8-year-old child and inflicted severe injuries on a 19-year-old female house worker through stabbing. The suspect's attempt to flee was thwarted when he fell into a hole near the crime scene and was later rescued by a joint effort of police officers and firefighters. Residents have condemned the incident, urging police officers to ensure justice prevails.
But he was not staying there. Yeah, he came from Kimbo. Trying to investigate who is he, whether he is related to the child, and what the relation between him and the wife, and probably the motive.
The injured worker is admitted in hospital with serious stab wounds. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Indeed, let's make a sense of this sense where you will now be required to acquire relevant documentation for coltan discovered in Embu County as the government seeks to evaluate the current landscape to chart a blueprint for investor attraction. This, as Mining Principal Secretary Elijah Mwangi calls for a stakeholder contribution in pushing up the gross domestic product from the current 0.9% despite the apparent vast untapped mineral resources in the country. Hibak Said with more.
Just last week, Mining and Fisheries Cabinet Secretary announced the discovery of the high-value mineral coltan in Embu County, signifying a complete turnaround in the economic situation of the otherwise agriculture-centric region.
So, Embu County, I'm happy to announce that in the area of Kiambere, Kiritiri, we have adequate deposits of coltan, and part of what we are doing here is that we will leave our teams behind to do ground truthing so that we can now begin to assess the economic value.
The discovery also had a ripple effect not only for residents but also to the associated State Department.
Government wanted to reorganize the mining sector and they imposed a moratorium on the issuance of new mining and exploration rights. This was meant to ensure that the government of Kenya come up with the data on its resources.
We advocate for sustainable and responsible mining practices. Investment is not just financial, it's not just about financial capital, it is also about investing in our communities.
To capitalize on this newfound resource, a committee from the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been assigned to organize the sector for optimal exploitation.
We have our membership across the country, and there has been recently a lot of interest in terms of how the Kenyan businesses, the Kenyan companies can be able to participate more in the mining sector.
Unlike previous mineral discoveries, coltan's unveiling aligns with a strategic goal to elevate its contribution to the gross domestic product to at least 10%. But is this a pipe dream?
We are looking forward as counties to be part of this process. We are happy with the transparency that is now developing within the mining sector, especially in the areas of identification of would-be investors, discovery, and the fact that the national government is now willing to give county governments the necessary support in terms of resources, in terms of technology, to help us discover this mineral.
The focus now remains on modernizing mining labs, formalizing mineral rights through gazettement, and establishing an online mineral cadastre.
We are also encouraging them to get into clusters, cooperatives, so that together they are able to acquire equipment. Mining equipment can be expensive, but together as cooperatives, they are able to access finances to be able to afford this.
The government anticipates the completion of the verification process, which will be complete within a month. Hibak Said for TV47.
Let's get sporty, and as the anticipation builds for the 4th edition of the magical Kenya Ladies Open, Kenyan golfers are confident they will deliver an impressive performance at the tournament that is set to unfold at the 18-hole BAMBA course in Vipingo Ridge from February 8th to 11th, 2024. Tony Kwalanda with more.
Mercy Nyanchama will make his 4th time appearance count at the 2024 Magical Kenya Ladies Open to be held at the Baobab course in Vipingo Ridge, Kilifi County.
I'm excited to be taking part for the Magical Kenya Ladies Open 2024.
The Ladies European Tour season tees off in Kenya and has attracted 108 players from across the world. Nyanchama is one of the 5 top elite amateur players who were named by the Kenya Ladies Golf Union to represent the country. She is currently based at Golf Park in Nairobi County, where she is polishing her game.
I've been working on my approach shot because my driver is okay for now, but my approach shot, it is where my problem is, but I've been working on it, so I believe this time it will be good.
The current Ladies Open champion was the highest-ranked Kenyan during the 2022 edition and is seeking to improve her world amateur golf ranking.
This year I'm hoping that my swing will be good because I've been doing practice Yeah. And then I'm very excited to go play with the pros from different countries. I'll be like watching how they do it. It will make my game improve more.
She'll be flying the country's flag together with Captain Naomi Wafula, Jackie Walters, teenager Chanel Wangare, and Kelly Gashaga. Tony Kwalanda, TV47 Sports.
Thank you, Kwalanda. Mutahi Kibugu has emerged as the frontrunner after the third round of the Safari Tour taking place at the Muthaiga Golf Club. Kibugu showcased exceptional prowess, playing an outstanding 2 under par today, resulting in a total score of 209. Paulino Kasoma, Justus Madoya and Eric Oko tied in the second place with a score of 210 points each, setting the stage for an intense finale. The final round of the Safari Tour is scheduled for Wednesday, promising a spectacular finish to an eventful tournament. The stakes are high, with the ultimate winner set to walk away with a cash prize.
Yeah, it was a good finish. I wasn't playing too great going up to that hole. I was just getting up and down. And yeah, I managed to pack 3 birdies in the last 4 holes and ended up with 2 under today. I've been in this position before many times. I'm more relaxed now. I feel like a vet now. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna go in there with the same game plan. Yeah, and try to get the job done.
The third round of the 2024 World Rally Championship, also known as the WRC Safari Rally, returns to traditional Easter holiday dates. Its official flag-off also returns to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC. Over 50 rally cars are expected to zoom off at the ramp at KICC on March 28th before heading to the super special stage at Kasarani Stadium. Labeled as the world's toughest rally, local and foreign drivers are expected to tackle competitive and transport sections in Nairobi, Kajiado, Naivasha, and Nakuru. The event director, Jimmy Kahumbura, estimates that 7 billion shillings will be pumped into the Kenyan economy with 300 rally personnel, foreign journalists and enthusiasts expected to enjoy the country's hospitality.
And we all of us used to look after Easter for to go and watch the Safari Rally. And the calendar has changed a bit. That's why we are slotted, I think, for 3 years in June. But we requested the promoter to slot Kenya back to where we used to be over Easter holidays. Remember, it's a holiday weekend. And the event will finish on Sunday, and Monday is a holiday for people to be able to go back to their normal life. Kenya, we are ready. Remember, we are supported by the Kenyan government. And we have been working behind the scenes for the last 2 months. We are ready to go. Already we got so many people inquiring about what we are doing and what we expect. And we are going to give it the best. For the 10 days that the rally will be happening, you see, remember the drivers come 10 days before the rally. And within 10 days, we expect to pump in Kenya economy 7 billion shillings for those 10 days.
News done, business done, sports done. What you're seeing there, of course, is a motorbike. We did promise you that we're not ourselves tonight. Our guests have come with what they use on the road because tonight we're discussing sanity on our roads. We shall be having a conversation with a rider. I can assure you she's a lady. You don't want to miss that and much more, especially as we look at things to do with road safety. And my director tells me that I can attempt to climb on it. So